Informal. Let's go.
Go. Welcome, Melissa, Killian, Michael Bowen. Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Leroy, and happy birthday, Melissa. Should we sing happy birthday for him on his on this show?
I made a shot in here to listen to this.
Okay, fine. Then I haven't got a thing around me. What have I got? I got a glass of water. And my singing voice is terrible, so we'll just go happy birthday. How does that sound?
No, man, don't chicken out. Just a short one.
Okay, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mr. Leroy. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday to you. Yip, yip.
Thanks,
Happy
Melissa.
birthday.
At least you brought some light to that. Well done. So, guys, welcome to the podcast. This is the first one for 2022. And this is where we have conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. So today we've got Melissa and we've got Michael, entrepreneurs, property investors, coach, speakers. What else do you guys do? Did I miss something in there?
Melissa, you're for Airstays. There's something, I mean, that is something that someone's been saying to me for a while now. What are you, Michael? And I've actually realized I'm not a property investor. I'm not a business investor. As someone actually said it recently, said, you invest in people. And they are right. Because what I do is I go out looking for people who want to just do things. And I'm like, well, I can make that happen for you. And then it just starts to happen. And it gives me so much more thrill and excitement than anything ever has to date. So I've now changed my little tagline. I invest into people and I love it. So I don't know what that word is for that, whether it's a peoplepreneur.
Peoplepreneur. You know, they say that the P in property is for people because bricks and mortar is quite boring, eh?
It is.
Bricks and mortar. So it's the people that make it exciting, that make it alive, that I enjoy it myself.
Absolutely. I mean, property is there, but people buy property and people live in property or people rent property. It's always people that are the common denominator throughout the whole entire scene of that. So it's people game. Absolutely.
So we're not even in it yet, Melissa, and he's already gave us some good nuggets there. It's about people, eh?
It is. Yeah. I need to take notes, I guess.
I've got my notepad here. I knew to So
words of wisdom.
So I think before we tell us what Airstay does. Are we talking about Airstay and ZA Homes or just Airstay? Because you just said
just Airstays. Let's keep it focused. Kind of. I'd love for Melissa because Melissa is Mrs. Airstay. Mel, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Leroy. So what Airstays basically is we automate the property management side of short-term rentals. So that involves the communication to the family, it's the communication to the guest. I'm still in work mode. So the communication to the guest, the communication to our cleaning team, we basically automate that whole process for our clients. So our client base is investors that have Airbnbs or that have short-term rentals that they would like to put on the Airbnb platform. So yeah, that's in a nutshell basically what we do. And I mean the purpose of it ultimately is to have people spend their time more wisely and not spend a lot of their time managing their properties.
Okay, that's interesting. Thanks, Melissa. So basically, if I understand it correctly, you guys manage Airbnbs with an automated system. Is that?
Yeah, so that's one of the platforms is Airbnb. The other one is bookings.com. We also do. Okay. But our main business definitely comes from the Airbnb space. And I think it actually Airstays sort of grew from this opportunity that we saw that, especially where in Bloemfontein, where I am based, I saw a lot of people not actually using their spaces to the best of their advantage or to make the most money for themselves. And I think that's sort of how Airstays eventually grew. It's like Michael said, we want to invest in people because I mean if we invest in people and we empower them to actually just have the system in place to manage it better, then they get more time to spend with families, don't have to be on the line with guests all the time.
I think you said it right, Mel. Actually, you said in the beginning, like it's family, and it actually is family because Airstays was born out of Heinrich with our partners in Zeta Homes, and then Airstays was born. And like Mel says, it's about people. It's about automating all of the work they do. You know, you have to be there for the guy to check in, and then he doesn't know where you are, and then when he leaves, and the cleaner arriving. And what Airstays does and what Mel does so fantastically well is set up automation of that. So if you're a person, there's no longer having to go every single day and check up on things. It's literally going once a week, once every twice a week. How often are you at the Bainscliff one now, Mel? 8:38 or 8:39 on average?
Yeah, I'd have to say like maybe an hour a month I spend on it. I mean, and that just, yeah, an hour a month.
Is that your property, Mel?
Yeah, so we have property there, and then we've also got clients there actually, specifically at Baines, which Michael mentioned now. So yeah, I'm in Bloemfontein. We have properties in Bloemfontein at the Airbnb, but I mean, I spend an hour max actually at the unit, and that also includes like the logistical stuff, like, you know, making sure the hand cream, for example, and the dishwashing soap is, you know, stocked up. So that includes shopping time actually, and it's something that you don't necessarily have to do, but I just like doing it. And yeah, as I said, included an hour spent on that property. It's amazing.
No, that's a good solution for landlords. But you said something interesting, Mel. You said Bloemfontein. Do people go there?
They do actually, and that's why everyone always asks that. You won't believe it, but it's
I thought Bloemfontein's like Boksburg. No one comes. It's just us that were born here that are still here.
No, Bloemfontein is bustling, so, you know, come to Bloem. We have Airbnbs where we can set you up. No, actually, and I think that's what I said earlier is, you know, that's how I think with the Zeta Homes and with Michael's input, and you know how he's also inspired us to in Bloema, for specifically with the Bloem Homes franchise, as part of the Zeta Homes. I saw this, you know, we saw this opportunity in Bloemfontein, and then it just sort of grew. So Airstays is not based in Bloemfontein, but I mean, this is just, I think, where the seed was planted to have people make sure that they actually use their spaces better and more effectively and more efficiently.
Okay, no, that's good. So let me get an understanding. So I've got an Airbnb in Boksburg, where I'm sure a lot of people. So I've got an Airbnb now. My house, I'm moving out to somewhere else. I want to Airbnb it out. Is that how you say it? I want to rent it out.
Yes.
What do I do? How do I start? Do I go to
so you contact us?
I go to the platform, the Airstay website.
Yes, we have a website. Yes.
Right.
With the contact details on there. And so then you make the first contact, and usually we have like a short consultation just to sort of figure out what your need is. And then after that, if you are on board and you'd like to be a client of ours, we actually spend a lot of time now at the end of last year to also automate our job and our workflow. So we've got that set up. And that's something, you know, that I think Jock helped a lot with. He's very good with that. So basically, then we start the process of consulting with you, even if you are in Boksburg.
And this is done, yeah. This is done virtually now. This is done on Zoom or Teams.
This is done virtually. Yeah. So we have a lot of info, obviously, that we need, and yeah, then we set it up. We set up the listing on Airbnb and the other platforms, whatever is, you know, whatever package you bought from Airstays. And then we also have like a short handover. So that's a nice thing. We've got the different packages, like the basic packages. We set it up for you. So you send us all the details. We consult with you, you know, what is the pricing? What do you need? We also have this nice checklist that we send to our clients to make sure that they've got everything that they need in the Airbnb. And we sort of alter to their needs, and whether they've got a bachelor or a 2-bedroom unit or whatever. And then we set up the listing, and we also do the handover and sort of teach, but not really teach, empower the person to actually now use Airbnb and use the platform that manages and that automates the processes. And then they can go on by themselves. But I mean, the time then spent is, as I said, is so little because everything is automated. So a guest requests to stay on the platform, then basically it's instant booking usually, and they already get the welcome message, the check-in message. When they check out, the cleaners get the message to make sure that the unit is serviced, and the process sort of just continues from there. So we've got a lot of people actually checking in that we don't even know about, because the process just runs so smoothly. So Michael, just add if there's something I might have missed.
No, I think you said it all, but one of the things that I wanted to touch on was something that Jacques said the other day. So Jacques, also the other business owner in this now, his apartments have all been automated as well. Jacques is now in Argentina. So he's not in South Africa. He was before, but what was the number of hours that he said he had saved over an average? I think it was 2 weeks. I think it was like 6 or 8 hours every 2 weeks he was saving.
Just so that's a lot, eh?
Yeah, that is.
But now tell me, that's amazing, eh?
As an entrepreneur,
that's
saves 8 hours every 2 weeks is insane. Now, okay, so Mel and Jacques are both kind of the mechanic kind of profiles. They love automating, and it's great working with them. Yeah. But can you imagine someone like me and you, Leroy? We're kind of stars. We like to get out there and see people. The last thing we want to do is admin. Yeah. When half of your admin is taken care of, and one of the things Mel was speaking about earlier is we've also got the last package, which is the accounting added in. Now, if you're like me, I hate doing accounting. Now, Jacques loves doing accounting because he's an accountant. I hate having to sit down and count all the beans. And then, I'm the kind of guy who's like, it's $500. And he's like, no, it's 499 Rand and 97 cents. Great as a business partner, but I don't want to sit down and count every single thing. The accounting package we have at the end where we add that on, all your accounting is taken care of as well. Everything's just kind of flowing through. So all you're busy doing is you're managing your business. You're being an entrepreneur. You're not being someone employed in your own business. That's what Mel has created. It's fantastic.
No, well done. I think it's a great solution. But let me just understand for people that are listening to say that. So now my property in Boksburg, we've consulted. You told me, okay, have this in the property, have that in the property. This is what we think that you should rent the property out per day or even per night, whatever it is. Okay. And now I'm saying, okay, all that is in place. Then it goes onto the Airbnb website. It goes onto booking.com. Am I getting that correct? So someone comes to booking.com, they click Boksburg, we like it, we want to come over for 3 nights. And then what happens now? Do I get an alert? Or what?
Yes. Yeah, so basically how Airbnb works is obviously whenever you have a listing, someone is the host. So you can, and that's the nice thing about the packages that we've graded, like we'll say the elite or the business package is actually that you as the property owner do not also have to be the host. But let's say, for example, if I take myself as an example, I've got the property in Bloem, so I'm also the host of the property. So someone books, they like Boksburg, they want to go there, they book, I get the notification to say, this person has booked. So, and then everything else is automated. I don't have to type out a message for them to tell them, okay, thank you for booking. This is where you go. This is the location. This is what you need to know. Yeah,
that is in there.
That's all
the payments are also made like on the Airbnb, like normal.
Yeah, the payment is via Airbnb. So everything is basically virtual and automated, which is excellent.
No, that's good. I'm actually asking I know Airbnb, I don't know much about it. I'm not going to lie to you and say I know much about it. I booked a couple, but I don't know how the back end of it.
Yeah, really, I think that's the thing that I also realized and how we grow. I think as when I started Airbnb, I also really didn't actually understand it. And I think that's what Airstays also offers our client is that sort of that support to know how to play the game. Because if you know how to approach Airbnb and you know how to set up your listings and you know how to, I don't want to say rig the system, but if you know how to play the game, then you'll be more successful. And that's what we can
And
also offer.
it's strategies and techniques is what it is. And it's things they've taken from courses, things they've taken from real life. It's things we've learned over time to actually, fine tune down. And I think you just touched it really well. There's a lot of people in South Africa who want to make extra money. There's also a lot of people in South Africa who own maybe a granny flat in their property and they rent it out. Now, Mel, I know when you guys went from a longer term rental on your Bainscliff unit into the Airbnb, the shorter term, the occupancy per night is higher. So your actual end at the month is a lot higher as well. Your
Yes.
revenue at the end of the month is a lot higher than if you do it on a long term kind of basis. So people in South Africa who've got either a spare room or a spare granny flat or something are going, but I don't understand technology. I don't understand Airbnb. I don't want people doing this. I don't want to be the person who checks in. I don't want to be the person doing the toilets. Those are the kind of people who could really benefit from contacting Melissa and go, look, I've got this unit. I got no idea. Would you just take care of me? And Mel will go and set it up for them to a point that they go, they'll have a script at the end to go, all I got to do is duk, 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 and it's done.
Yeah.
And that's what it really kind of helps. It empowers a lot of people to make more money out of their own home, whether it be per room, per side room, per granny flat, whatever it is, or even your own home when you go on holiday. You can still do it. And Mel can do amazing stuff with that. Whether you're here, Joburg, it works in Joburg, it works in Durban, it works in PE, it works everywhere. And it works no matter where you are as well. You can be anywhere in the world. And all you got to do is check in on your phone every now and then.
Just so interesting.
Definitely. I think a lot of people that I've spoken to, especially in Bloemfontein, they're a little bit scared of going into short-term renting because there's more admin involved. And that's what Airstays basically takes away and automates for them. So perfect opportunity to make more money.
That's good advice. I've got a student who asked me, now this is also Boxburg. Now she says she wants to do Airbnb. And I don't know if I was negative. I was like, I don't know who's gonna come here for an Airbnb. Like for me, Airbnb is you go to the sea, you go to Bloemfontein, or you go to
In Bloemfontein, there's no sea in Bloemfontein.
I was looking at you and saying Bloemfontein, but that's where you go, right? I don't see someone coming to Boxburg, and she wants, it's a dream. She was on whose course for the TPM, the Airbnb.
Robin Boots.
She was on Robin Boots' course and she wants an Airbnb. And I think I crushed her dream slightly to say that, no, man, who's going to come to Boxburg? But I think I'm going to go back to her tomorrow and say, go watch this, or when we post this and say, go watch this recording, contact them and set up your Airbnb. So we're turning her probably into a multi-let. So I'll say maybe put one or two of those little flats in the yard on Airbnb and see.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll even give you a discounted price and we'll prove that it works. And we'll come back in 3 months on this very same show of yours and we'll bring her on and we'll go, right, how did it work?
Okay. Takani, let me write her name down for tomorrow. Takani, I'm going to call her.
We can make it
She's going to be so excited. She's going to be so excited. But you see, because I don't know how it works and I've never done it, I was taking her more to what I do. Multi-lets, buy-to-lets.
Yeah.
And maybe take us through why Airbnb and why not your traditional buy-to-lets, multi-lets, or renting out a family home. Maybe for guys who's thinking, okay, I'm thinking of moving now. To say, and why not renting out my house to one family? Why put it on Airbnb? What's the benefits of it?
Michael, do you want to go or can I fire away?
Let's go for it. I'm like trying to keep quiet here because I know Mel's like chomping at the bit. I think
Leroy, it's like I mentioned earlier, I think it's the fear, like a long-term lease offers them a little bit more security. And I think in places, what I wanted to add with regard to the previous point, places like Boxburg and Bloemfontein, you need to be okay with not having 3 months in advance booked out. And I think that's what often makes people a little bit anxious because it's literally short-term renting. So we've got a lot of same-day bookings. But I mean, if we show you the occupancy, then we know it's working, and it is part of the reason why our occupancy is so high is because our processes have been automated, which I definitely think also adds to the algorithm or in our favor. So I think in my opinion, definitely people are a little bit apprehensive to do short-term renting because they're not assured that they'll have X amount of income as they do with like student accommodation and collecting.
Mel, let me ask you a question. It's more of a kind of a little mini promotional thing here. When was our big lockdown? When was it? October, November, when we had our last little lockdown?
Yeah.
What was your occupancy during those months?
So it was actually 76%, which I mean
in lockdown in Bloemfontein.
That was the first. That was the first hard one. That tough one.
No. Which one? This is the last one. This is the last one that just went past now.
This was the last one. Yeah.
This is October.
How long was that one? That one was a couple of weeks.
About I think it was 6 weeks in the end.
Yeah, I think it was about 6 weeks.
Yes, that's good, eh?
That is.
That's
definitely.
Good, because I was fighting with tenants. I don't have Airbnb, but I was fighting lockdown. Lockdowns is not good, and that was good.
So let's just put that into a financial sense for entrepreneurs out there. So this place costs us about 350,000 Rand. After all our expenses, that's mortgage, maintenance provision, vacancies, voids, maintenance, as well as our business expenses. That's our advertising, our banking, our accounting every single month, which is $400 a month. After all of those fees, I think we still made, was it just over 2 grand? Was it 1.9 or 2.1, something like that, Mel?
It's actually 2.5, yeah.
2.5. So during a lockdown,
what was the 2.5 now?
That is our profit, 2,500 Rand after all of our home expenses and our business expenses. Not just the property expenses. The property plus the business expenses, we made 2.5 grand profit on a 350,000 Rand unit.
Sure. And that was one of my questions. You say, okay, now it's COVID, right? It seems like it's going away now with the Omicron and stuff. But now you have international travelers, some are vaccinated, some are not vaccinated, some can travel, some can't travel. So it's not free like we used to be. How has that affected the Airbnb space in South Africa? Because now we don't have as many international travelers coming as we used to.
Mel, talk for Bloem. I'll talk for Cape Town.
Sorry, Michael.
If you can talk for Bloemfontein, how
well,
COVID
I think what we are. Yeah, how COVID has affected that. Well, I mean, what we see is a lot of like business travelers, specifically in Bloem. I think with Bloemfontein specifically, you wouldn't necessarily have like, a lot of people coming from the international space. It is usually people traveling through. Bloem is literally the halfway mark, on a lot of roads. So international, we don't really get a lot of international guests usually in any case. But as I said, I've seen a lot of business. And what actually is interesting, when we had the lockdown with the curfew, we saw a lot of people that would normally have driven through Bloemfontein actually increased our occupancy, and we could offer them the accommodation, so that was great.
It was the halfway stop almost, because the people were saying, okay, well, I can't go all the way, let me just stop off in Bloem.
Exactly.
From a Cape Town perspective, Jacques had a big suffering when they announced the flight cancellations, and pretty much I think it was about 70 or 80% of his stuff got cancelled. So that's a big knock. There's international money there, you're talking December, but he filled it all back up again because he just applied the strategy to locals at a different rate. So he managed to fill it all back up again, make his profit. So Cape Town is a lot more affected by international tourists, more so than probably Joburg or any other place in South Africa. But Bloem, we seem to do well. It's a lot of business travelers. We've chosen very well. We've chosen very small, neat, bed, convenient locations. It's literally main road, Bloem, 10 minutes, and it's got everything it needs right there. So business travelers are like, done, let's go. It's got everything I need. And we've marketed it specifically for that. Our marketing targets that kind of thing, saying, clean, convenient business. It kind of goes towards that. Whereas Jacques, when he positions his, is more towards the international kind of tourist. So we have felt it, but I mean, I'm looking yesterday when I was walking around Cape Town, the tourists are here. Literally, the Dutch are in droves. They're in lockdown at the moment in Holland. And so what they're doing is they're crossing the border and flying over. They're getting their COVID test and they've done all their COVID vaccinations, but they're coming in droves. Like I'm going to coffee shops in town and it's just, I'm going to go to mine Holland or am I in South Africa? Because it's just Dutch. And all of those are looking for Airbnbs. One of my friends who arrives on Sunday morning from Hungary cannot find a place in Sea Point on Airbnb. It is all rented out.
And this is internet. This is international and local, or local travel has probably increased, because people are thinking, okay, let me go to Bloemfontein.
There's majority international.
This is international.
It's international. It's Europeans saying they've had enough of lockdown. Why do they have to stay at home and work from their own homes when they can work remotely and then come to South Africa and pay a place in Clifton for 100 euros a night, which for them is like 100 euros. That doesn't even get me an entrance to a 1-star over there. Meanwhile, for them, they're going, well, that's going to get me a nice little play. Not 100 euros, but you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. So they're over here in droves, and I'm not talking like, 10, 15, 20 people. I'm talking hundreds of foreigners walking around town, and you can see it a mile away, just going, I'd rather be in Cape Town. So we're getting quite a nice bump.
That's good news. That's good news. So yeah, man, I think I'm excited. I'm even thinking, I'm not gonna lie, I've never thought about Airbnb. I listen to it every now and again. It's like student accommodation. I listen to it, but I stay away from it. And I'm actually thinking now, would someone like me, let's say we're planning on moving out where we are now in the next month, 2, 3, whatever it is, is it a bad thing? This is now for myself, to put it on like to see what traction you get in Boksburg before. Can I do that?
No. So before you do that, contact Mel. Mel will actually run you some pre-numbers and she'll show you more or less what you expect. If you did it on your own and if you did it with her.
Okay.
So you can literally show you.
But you can definitely, like the principle, you can do it. Like,
is it?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking the income could be, because what do you charge a night on average? Let's say just not Cape Town, or maybe not. But
that's the thing with that. Yeah, that's what Michael just mentioned. So we actually have access to statistics or information where we can sort of guide you to get a price point that is competitive within Boksburg. So not necessarily competitive with regards to Bloem, because I mean Bloem and Cape Town or Sea Point prices differ a lot. So it won't necessarily be the same, but it will be specific to Boksburg. And that's what Airstays can also offer our clients, is to help them, because I think a lot of people are overwhelmed, like, okay, so how much do I charge? Am I, is it competitive? Is it too expensive? Is it too cheap? So we sort of get that, I want to say that, I don't know what's the word, but that point where it's exactly right for the type of clients that you want to attract to your business.
And it's nice, you have these conversations, and myself, Mel and Jacques and Hein have it every now and then, where we go, we could come back up to what everyone else is charging, but then would it drop down our occupancy, and then what would that do? Okay, run the numbers all over again, and okay, fine, but if we dropped it even lower, would we raise our occupancy up to 100%, and then fine, we could also get that kind of thing. So Melissa can completely do that for you. So much fun.
So I think I'm going to do that. And I think one of the things is that we're coming to the end of it now, but one of is that, let's say I rent out a property for 10,000, okay? Or let's say I rent it out for 5,000. But on Airbnb, if I rent it out 1,000 rand a night and I rent it out for 10 days, I've got it in 10 days. I don't know, the monthly operating expenses are probably a bit higher than a normal, but you can take your income up heavily with Airbnb.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the nice
double it or triple it. I don't know. You guys, whoever's listening to this, you'd have to contact Melissa or contact Michael to get those details. I'm just thinking.
No, definitely, Leroy. Yeah, you can. And I think for someone in your position, what is great is they can actually determine, do they want to book it out for the whole month? Do they want to accept someone renting it out for 10 days only, or do they want someone renting it out for a month? Where with long-term renting, you can't do that. While with Airbnb, you can, because if you don't want someone coming to stay in your place, you just block out the dates, for example.
And we did it way back when with Michelle, and went away to Durban. We did it for the 15 days that were away. Moved everything into one room. So all personal things went into one room, rented out the place, came back, cleaners had done everything for us, which is great, and then turned a profit. And it turned out it actually paid for our holiday. It paid for our flight, and I think we walked away with like 1,100 Rand each. So I'm like, hang on, we paid for our flights, our accommodation, our holiday. We came back and we had an extra 1,100 Rand in our pocket. Like, okay, this is good. That's when I really twigged onto us to go, and there's certain things that you must keep it in your arsenal for and really utilize it. I wouldn't go all in, Leroy, but I'll certainly take one or two and go, how could I just take this one and taste the water until you feel comfortable? Because when you feel it, when you see it, like it comes out, you go, yes. But until you've actually seen it and felt it, you're always going to be apprehensive. Yeah. And for the people watching as well, try and start small. If you've got a side room, if you've got a granny flat, start with that, see how that works for you, and then move from there.
And I think what I like is you don't have to be an investor. You don't have to. People think when you say investing, they think Michael Bowen, and then they think these guys, you understand, they think shark in their numbers, and they think, and this is simple. You take a granny flat and you rent it out, and people come in and they go out a couple of times a month or however much, or weekends, or whichever, depending on, and you're making an extra income. And I think you guys have really given us good tips here, because why I also started this podcast or show was to educate, inspire, and to share opportunities, because everyone out there needs an additional income, 1, 2, 3, and some people think it's a difficult thing. You have to be an entrepreneur, business person. You just need a room in your house or a granny flat, or convert the garage, or when you leave, then
people convert a garage, then they've made these garages look amazing. And there's no anything fancy. It's just a bed, a dining room table, and there's a bathroom. There's no kitchen or anything, because people come on holiday, they go out. I'm like, I'll just convert the garage for a few months. Like, okay. And of course, they put nice carpets down and things like that. A bit of effort. And that's the kind of thing the more effort you put into it to get the nicer kind of niceties, the more you can start to charge. So yeah, it doesn't need to be big though. You can start small, feel it out, get a couple extra $100 a month, get a couple of $1,000 a month extra. That just kind of takes the pressure off the fuel prices. It's little things like that. You don't need to be an entrepreneur. You just need to be a guy who just takes an opportunity and then sees and just goes, I'm going to do it. That's all it is.
And one could turn into two could turn into three. Then you could have one, or the first one will pay for the second one, or the whatever. That's normally how business starts, eh?
Absolutely. Start
so
with one.
Leroy, I wanted to add, like you mentioned, we think investing, we think Michael, and we think all these big names, but this is actually investing. It's investing, the spaces that you have and using it. You're investing in yourself. You're investing in your future, creating a better income. So.
I love that you say that, because today I put out another post about ZA sourcing, which we're starting with a lady called Sweleni, and I want to bring her on your show as well. And you must see the stuff she's written.
Let's talk sourcing deals and finding deals sometime in
and it's the same thing. And I put this post up, just want to quickly put this out there. I put all the dirty stuff. The website isn't even done yet. I put it up there for everyone to see. The logo isn't done. I put it up, and I put it up for a reason. I want everyone to see that it's not just the shiny end. There's all this other, excuse my language, cock in between that you go through as entrepreneurs to get the stuff set up. It only looks shiny at the end. People like Mel makes it look shiny now, but they don't see what Mel went through all the time going, how do we, that's like the stress.
So yeah, guys, I think thanks for joining us. So quick one, last one. Last bit of advice, whatever it is. Tip for 2022, beginning of the year, guys. Let's get these people fired up, whether it be Airbnb, whether it be personal, whatever you want to say.
Mel, do you want to go first?
Well, one that always sticks out for me is just, you're not a tree, so move and, move your business along and get going.
Love
Man,
it.
sister.
Love it. I'm going to give my one, which is my mantra for this year. And it's something that I heard from a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. And
We're listening
it's
to
just stuck so much in my heart right now. The ROI of life is happiness. Stick to finding your happiness. The money will follow. It is brilliant. I've started chasing happiness more and more, and the money's coming with it.
Amen. Amen. Take action. Find what you love, and the money will come. And the money will. Ladies and gentlemen, conversations with entrepreneurs that inspire and experts to admire. We've got Melissa, we've got Michael, experts. Where can we follow you? We want to put our properties onto Airstay. Where do we find you? Social media, website, phone number, whatever it is. They're probably not going to contact you. They're probably not going to contact you, Michael. You're probably not going to get any calls there.
So we've got a website. It's www.airstays.co.za, and then we've got our email address. Our telephone number is on the website. We've also got an Instagram page. We've got a Facebook page, Airstays, so they can check us out there.
Okay, cool. What I'll do is we'll also put everything in the sections when we post it, and then everyone can get that. We'll post it to all the platforms as well. We'll just let you know when that is going up. So guys, thanks for joining us. All the best for the year. Well done with the business and what you guys have put together. And I know people like me can benefit from that. My admin is terrible. So as he said, this would benefit me a lot. And I think most
give it a go.
Most people out there. So well done. And I think I'm going to contact Takani. Definitely Takani. She's putting about 5 or 6 flats in a yard, massive yard. So I'm going to say, listen, contact Mel, and then let's put 1 or 2 and see how it works. And then I'll also contact you for my one, and we can come back in a month or 2 or so and say,
right,
we went through it. This is what happened.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you for making time out. I appreciate it. All the best for the year, and
thanks.
We'll chat soon. Anything else before we go?
Thank you, Leroy. This is fantastic. Love it.
Thanks,
Thank
Leroy.
you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening, everybody.
All right. Chat soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
That's it. Bye.